So these are a few things I would use in the wintertime. The first and the biggest one that I like using is just a little drop shot. I'm gonna actually fish this one and talk about this one more so because this is one of my favorites in like northern lakes or northern places like us, like Ohio. And I think that's one that works the best. Another one is just a deeper diving jerkbait. Like this is a Rapala, however you guys say it, deep 11, and as you see it has that little bit bigger bill. This time of year, like winter, I would still use all necessarily, well, for jerkbait it doesn't matter, but I would use more shad colors still. This isn't the color jig I would use. I just wanted to grab out a jig. This is the one I had sitting on top of my boat. I would use like an all natural green, maybe like 2 strands of orange, but mainly just green, couple strands of orange possibly. This is just one I have from the Chesapeake Bay. But a jig would be a really good thing, but you would have to drag this and fish this very slow. Everything right now this time of year, with it being this cold, you're gonna have to fish very slow, especially with the jerkbait. When you start twitching this thing, you're gonna have to do not crazy hard rips. You're gonna have to do some just twitch, and then leave it paused for, I mean, I'm talking 5+ seconds. Another one is a little swim bait. There we go. I think this is a 3.75 little swim bait. Or wait, 3.25. Had to look at it. 3.25 swim bait. And this, I'm talking like just barely creep it. That's another thing to use. Not necessarily, I mean, these can work in Ohio, but in Ohio it gets really cold, and it's kind of about impossible to catch fish in the wintertime. But just a deeper diving crankbait would work, and again, I would go with more of a shad color still. I wouldn't necessarily switch over to crawl yet until the water starts warming up a little more. And then one of the best that you can use when it's super cold is just little Ned Rig. They catch fish all the time throughout the year, cold, warm, doesn't matter. That's another one. But I am going to talk about the drop shot today. I'm going to go out and fish, and the water is probably, honestly, mid 30s. It was froze a couple days ago, and I'm going to see if I can catch a fish on this and talk to you guys about how to fish this. Okay, how's it going, guys? I'm sorry for the wind. It's freaking freezing. Literally, it's so cold out. But I'm going to do a little demonstration or how to fish a drop shot in the wintertime. It's very easy and very simple, and I'm probably going to be kind of quick because I am absolutely freezing. For this, the deepest part of the pond is over there, so I'm going to cast all the way out there. I'm going to sink all the way down on the slack line so it falls directly down. And then with this, in the wintertime, I fish it a lot different than I do in the summertime. I literally don't twitch it at all. Like, you know, in the summertime you'll twitch it like this to make the bait sit there and jiggle and whatnot and bounce and whatever. I don't do that at all in the wintertime. I literally just drag it like a jig, because literally like any movement that I do, like me barely twitching up here, it's going to move it down there. So I'm trying not to move it as much as possible, because in the wintertime everything's so much slower. The bait's slower, the fish are slower, just because of how cold it is. So I literally will just drag this, and I will drag it so freaking slow. Like, I've moved probably 2 foot since I've casted it. But with the water being, I mean, the water's mid 30s, maybe even low 30s. With it being this cold, you have to in order to catch fish. That's how it is, at least where we're at. People in the southern, like Florida and that kind of stuff, they can still fish a little bit quicker. They can fish bladed baits and that kind of stuff. But here, nah, a little too cold for that. Oh, I forgot to say, since I just said bladed baits, another bait that's really good for when it's really cold out is a blade bait itself. Just a metal blade bait with treble hooks on it, like a lipless, but only like a thinner piece of metal, and you literally just kind of work it really slow, and then you just kind of pull it up, and it vibrates up and then back down. But yeah, hopefully the wind ain't too bad. It's freaking windy out. I just tried to fly my drone for the first time, and it's like in 2 minutes that I flew it, my hands were freezing. I couldn't feel them, and it was kind of hard. It was so windy that the drone was kind of going here or there. But yeah, this is literally how I will fish it in the wintertime. For lakes would be a little warmer right now, but still the fish are freaking freezing, and they'll more than likely go a lot deeper than what they would in this pond. Some of them wouldn't, obviously, but the majority of the fish would. The majority of the fish would be deeper for sure. That's when deep diving crankbaits would come into play, jerk baits would come into play, dragging a jig or dragging a drop shot or a Ned Rig would come into play, that kind of stuff. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna catch fish or not. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's freaking cold. I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't. It's that cold. And that's the thing, in the winter time, you're more than likely not going to catch just like all big fish like you would like sometimes other times throughout the year, like in springtime and that kind of stuff, in the fall time. More than likely in the winter, if you get bit, you're just going to catch some small ones. That's how it's going to be. The big fish don't normally eat much at all throughout the winter. They'll eat just a couple times throughout the winter, and that's it. The small ones, you can kind of trick them into eating, like with something really slow like this, and that's how you get them to bite. I mean, you'll get big ones eat this kind of stuff too, but it's just, with them it's different. They don't eat as much just because how big they are, and they can last longer. They feed up hard before winter, so they try to last through winter. But yeah, little ones you can catch more of in the winter time. That's just a given. For jigs, you literally the same. You just drag them really slow, but I would use like more of a finesse jig, or like cut it down to like a little jig than like a mop jig, because a mop jig would be a little too big for like that time of year, especially because the crawls go under. They bury themselves until it gets warmer, so just something a little smaller would be a little better. I'm gonna do one more cast and talk about some other stuff. So it all really depends on where the fish will be in the wintertime too. Like in a pond, they'll be on the deepest parts, or they'll pull on, like, that's a little rock bank across there. They'll pull on the back side of that. That's the deepest part of the rock bank over there, like if they want to be on some structure still. But in ponds, they necessarily don't care about being on structure. They can just be in the middle of the pond, or the deepest part of the pond where it's like the warmest. They don't care. In lakes, I mean, they'll do really anything. They can go off in the river channel on like the ledge itself. They can go on deeper rock piles and sit there all winter long. It really just, it all depends on the fish. The fish are literally so different. Some big largemouth would sit on like a freaking tree or stump field in like 20 foot of water, maybe even 15 foot of water. Some of them would stay shallower. That all depends. Every fish is different, but the majority of the fish are going to go deeper, and they'll sit on like the channel, or the like a drop off, or on like actual structure down there. That's what the majority of them would sit on. But the thing is like it's sometimes just so hard to catch them, even though you see them there, just because they don't want to eat. But yeah, as I said before, the main bait's my main bait. My favorite bait's just a drop shot. You can work it so slow and just be super lethargic with it, and it's such a small profile that I feel like they would eat it. And then a Ned Rig's a great one for that. You just drag it super slow, and it has literally like no action. It's perfect for wintertime. And then a jig crankbait would be good too. It's just, you got to be like more so fishing some structure than just like an open water pond. And then a jerkbait's really good. You just got to work it really slow as well. And then a small swim bait is good too, but you got to be fishing some structure, or just slowly like creeping it along the bottom. And I think that will be it for this video. I think I'm gonna catch a fish. I think it's way too cold for that. So thank you guys for watching this. I'm gonna try to do some more videos throughout the winter of just other things that I would do. Maybe some like equipment or something, or I don't know what. I will figure it out. If you guys come up with any ideas, let me know. what you want to see throughout the winter. But thank you for watching this video, and hopefully it warms up. It's not going to, but I'm gonna have a couple months for that. But I'm ready to get back fishing. It's been not even that long, like a month, 2 of cold, and I'm already done with it. But thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more to come.